This week I learned going to the beach and actually getting in the water. Yeah, that's a young folks game. Hey, what's up, bookworms? Mike back with another weekly update, the last for the month of June. The month is rolling to a close, as is the first half of 2025. It has just zipped by. Took the kids to Galveston Island, which is about an hour and plus drive here for us. Not the prettiest beach in the world, but a really, really good time. They got this thing out there now called Pleasure Pier, which is like a parking lot carnival, a little more stable than that, but had some really crazy rides. Kids played in the ocean there for a while, and yeah, I was zapped. So we just kind of sat around the house and done reading and watching TV all weekend. So how you guys doing? Let's talk about this week. Before that, though, did finish some things here, and we're gonna begin like usual talking about what am I reading. I did finish The Gray Bastards by Jonathan French. It's the first book in the Lotlands series. Well, I say, but it feels almost like you can kind of treat it like a standalone. There might be some hanging things. You can tell when he wrote it, though, it was very much, yeah, let's write one, see how it does, and then if it's successful, which it was, then you can kind of continue with the series. For me, I'm glad that I got to it. I feel like I have been kicking this one down the road for 3 or 4 years now. Someone sent this to me back in 2021, and I just now got to it. It's one of those I would put on my new series I want to start list every year, and it seemed like to be the one that always kind of got skipped to the next year. So I made it a point this year I wanted to get to it, and I'm glad I did. I made the comparisons last week to Sons of Anarchy. There are several things that'll make you think of Sons of Anarchy. The main character's name, his best friend's name, the way they sit around a table and vote, and this whole like a motorcycle gang. It really very much is. Thankfully, what I was worried about did not happen. It never once felt like the same storyline as Sons of Anarchy, outside of, hey, I want to replace the person that's at the head of the table. You know, I feel like that can go with just about anything. But with this, I'll say I was actually surprised at how serious it got, because it really does start off at first you're just hanging out with these bikers, just having a good time. The dialogue back and forth is just real playful, and they're having a good time. It's just, you're having fun with these half orcs, protecting this land from full orcs and elves and things like that. It makes a lot of sense. And you're like, okay, you're just having a good time. We're using all this funny language. We're cussing every other word. We're drinking. We're having good times. We're just living our best life. And it gets really serious. Gets really, really dark, really, really messed up. And that's why I'm going to say, I like the book. I cannot recommend it to everybody, though, because it has some things that will definitely upset some folks in it. There are he finds a way, kind of like, you guys ever watch Battlestar Galactica? Battlestar Galactica, they found a really interesting way on network television where you can't actually drop the colorful language to find a way to make words that kind of mean those things, like frack for the F word and things like that. And with this I think that he's found a way to use made-up words within this world for what many would consider slurs. So that's going to upset some people. The violence, the sexual assault, all of that stuff that people get upset about, it is very much in this book. So I'm just going to let you know if grimdark stuff is too much for you, this is very much falls in that category. And in some cases, it takes a little further. These things don't bother me, but I thought I would let you know. I can see why a lot of people will start this book and say, after the first 50 pages or so. For me, I liked it a lot. I'll definitely probably continue. I don't think it's going to be this year just because I've gotten so behind on my schedule. And we'll talk about that in the future, why I'm saying that I've got to start actually finishing some of these series instead of starting some new ones, because I'm starting a lot lately and realize I didn't have time to continue on any of the ones I started last year. But with this, it's a recommend for me if you like those things. If you're into First Law and you're like The Last War, things like that, I don't think it'll bother you too much. But if those things I mentioned bother you, I'd steer clear of this one. I would. But if you are like me and you're like, hey, it's just fiction, bring it on. It doesn't bother me. I think you'll probably enjoy it quite a bit, especially if you're a fan of Sons of Anarchy, because it'd be hard for me to think that anyone who's watched Sons of Anarchy, which has all those things I just mentioned, wouldn't enjoy this book. If you're a fantasy reader, I think you will really, really enjoy it. Now, I did not get to Unholy. Now, Unholy is book 2 in Unwind by Neil Shusterman, and that was on my schedule for May, and I was sorry, for June. It was on my schedule for June. It just didn't happen. It just didn't happen this month, and I've said, hey, push it to 6 books is probably a little ambitious, and, if we don't finish them, who cares? But the thing is, I had already planned my schedule for next month, so Unholy is kind of getting kicked. With me, it's I don't know when I'll get to it. I still want to. Unwind was my book of the month last month, so of course I want to continue with it. But that was the odd man out this month. It's just, I got back from vacation. I got so wrapped up in everything that was going on. I was just overwhelmed the last 2 weeks. And that's why this book, which is not very long, took me so long to read, because this work was just whipping me since I got back, and trying to get everything back together on this channel. Still trying to make sure, I'm spending lots of time with the kids. All this stuff, real life can get in the way sometimes. Well, it did very much get in the way these past couple of weeks, and that's why Unholy is to be determined for when I'm going to put that on there. I'd like for it still to happen this year, but I don't know. It just kind of depends if I have a good month. Sometimes I have those months where I fly through everything that I plan to read, and I've got 10 days left in the month. Maybe July will be that month. We shall see. But that brings me to what am I going to read next up, guys. I am going to be giving this one a try again. If you watch my TBR video, you know I said I am going to try Murderbot again. And I'm picking up where I stopped. I'm not reading book 1 again. So I said with this is I didn't like All Systems Red that much. I didn't hate it. I just didn't understand why people just go on and on and on about it. But with this, I really like the show that they made on Apple TV. And I'm like, okay, maybe that's kind of what I was missing, because everyone set me up for this really just hilarious laugh-a-second kind of book, and I never really laughed. But on the show, I'm laughing. I'm laughing a lot. So I'm thinking maybe just I wasn't getting the humor the first time. And maybe, again, going forward, who knows if you need to have that humor. But I think I'm a little more interested in the story now because of the way the show has set it up, and maybe actually interested in those character stuff that you really can't do in 120 pages. It's hard to give those characters development. But giving the Sec Unit actual some personality and stuff on the show, I think it's actually kind of helped me a bit with at least my interest in returning to the book series. So I'll be picking up Artificial Condition here probably this evening. And then for the rest of the month, I think the next one I'll go to after that, since that's a really short, that's a one-day read. It's clearly not that long. I'll probably be getting back to Dungeon Crawler Carl, and that is the Dungeon Anarchist Cookbook. And I talked last week and in my TBR video about, the warnings I've had about this one. Some people tell me, oh no, this is gonna be the spot where you DNF the series. It would have to be monumentally. It'd have to be like The Last Jedi terrible for me to DNF the series. But it was one of those where I loved book 1. Book 2, being completely frank with you, disappointed me a little bit because I had different expectations, I think. I didn't think it was a bad book. I was just expecting something different. So with this one, and again, it wasn't a disappointment as in I'm done with the series. Clearly, I wouldn't be going to book 3 if I hadn't. But I've gotten so many warnings about this one, and now all those warnings are other people telling me that's a dumb warning. The book's fine. These things aren't anything to worry about. So we'll see how it goes for me. A lot of people told me, since I'm reading it instead of listening to it, I know some of you are you're flipping tables because I won't listen to it. It's not that I won't, it's I can't, guys. I can't. You should know by now my feelings on audiobooks if you've been here a while. If not, check out this video, and it'll tell you why audiobooks just don't work for me. It's a I can't thing. It isn't something you can just walk off. I just can't pay attention to it long enough. But since I'm reading it instead of listening to it, a lot of people told me that the things that bother those people won't bother you so much. And apparently, Matt Denneman does say at the beginning, you don't have to memorize the train schedule to understand this book. And that's what a lot of people kind of fall into that trap, apparently, because he gets very, very in-depth about this train system. And I tell people, I've lived in Houston for 30 years, man. We have Metro out here. I still don't understand the bus schedule, so I just don't. I don't try to figure it out. So I can glaze over that without a problem. I'm not worrying about all the stat building and stuff in these books either. So I think I'll be okay. With me, as long as I've got Carl and Princess Donut raising some hell, having some good times with the really funny narrator, I'll be fine. I'll be fine with this book. And I'm excited to continue with it. As for this week on the channel, I already mentioned it. I did look ahead to my July reading plans. Got some things on there that are a little shorter, I think, just because I think this past month proved, hey, quit putting 6 regular-sized books on there because maybe you're not going to have the time to do it. Summer, the kids are out of school, don't have as much time as I usually would on these things, so let's rear it back a little bit. So I got some shorter books on there. I got a Driss book on there. I got a Murderbot book on there. A couple of books that really won't take that long to read at all, and that'll kind of clear the path for August, where I do have a big one or two to get into. So I always like to share my reading plans just in case any of you guys want to read with me. I'd love to have you, obviously. And lots of good feedback on that video because I had no idea that Gunmetal Gods was so well received. I guess here's the thing is it seems like no one's read it, but the people who have read it love it. They go on and on about it. So I think it's one of those books that's just really well received, just not enough people have read it. So hopefully it'll be like it kind of was with The Failures. And if I really like it, I can get more people to read it. Because sometimes those under-the-radar reads that are really, really great, all they need is us talking about it. And it's a snowball effect. And you can help these guys get noticed. I'm hoping that is the case because ℕ𝕦𝕣𝕒𝕤𝕤 was completely awesome and sent me that Super Ultimate Edition, which is just amazing. and I can't wait to actually read from it. A video I kind of did, I put off for a couple of weeks because I was still trying to find the wording for it, and I didn't think it was going to be that interesting of a topic, but it's one of my most popular videos of the year so far, is when to abandon a series even if it's popular. And a lot of the feedback I get when I say what I'm going to be doing in these videos is, that doesn't seem like a very good topic. And I was like I have things I think I could say about it, you know, because it seems like so many people are just feel obligated to keep reading a series because they've invested so much time into it. It's like being in a bad relationship and you don't want to end it because, you know, you got to start back over, and, you know, you've been with this person for 5-6 years. You don't want to just start fresh. I get it. But I'm here to tell you guys, you can't just, you're being like a battered partner. You can't do that. And for me, is reading should never be an obligation. And that's just kind of what I talk about. There's several things, and there's like, if this is happening to you, yeah, it's okay to go ahead and abandon that series. It's not anything that you should feel obligated to do. You shouldn't do it just because someone else is expecting for you to do it. Or again, if you've been doing it for so long, you just feel like, well, this is just the norm. This is what I do at this point. But very, very interesting responses. And a lot of people said, oh, this particular author that you name in there, that all those fans are going to come at you. I don't know. I don't think that happens anymore. I think so many people have kind of been disappointed with how that series has went that they're not really upset. And the thing was, I just use that as an example. But, you know, I know that's probably like the hot button one right now, that a lot of people are having that same issue with the series that I am. But again, it was a topic I didn't think would be that interesting. But yeah, a lot of good feedback, tons of comments. I can't even keep up with the comments on there. So I'm glad you guys are interested in the topic. And I think I got my favorite YouTube comment ever on there that said that, you know, I'd been dropping a lot of truths in my videos lately, and that I'm officially the dad of BookTube now. I will take that because I will dad the hell out of you, damn it. I will. So you guys definitely good feedback, and I appreciate that. I did attend Comic Palooza last weekend. It's just a smaller convention here in Houston. We don't get a really massive convention out here, so that's why a lot of people hadn't even heard of it. And as if, honestly, guys, it's the first time I've been to one, not only as a media member, but really at all. Like the last time I went to a convention, it was the E3 Expo. That's like old gaming expo. Do you remember they used to do that? I think they stopped during the virus shall be named. It's kind of gone now. Everybody just does like their own. All the game companies kind of do their own series now. You know, their own presentation. They don't really do a big convention anymore. So that's the first one I've been to in a long time. And it's just, you know, just people selling stuff, and you get this. If you want to stand in line and meet people, meet celebrities, stuff like that, pay for autographs. I mean, it's not my thing. I don't stand in lines anymore. So I was honored to get a media pass. I hung out with Christopher while we were there quite a bit. Went to a couple of his speaking panels, and that was a lot of fun. It's always fun to hang out with Christopher. Great guy, obviously. And he's, you know, he probably was the biggest name author there. I also met Paul ℙ𝕦𝕤𝕤𝕤, who wrote Head Full of Ghosts, and he signed a horror movie for me. And I met Andrew Stewart, who wrote Bone Shard's Daughter and got her new book and got her signed for me. She was incredibly nice, like crippling amount of nice. Like I was just like, I can't not buy your book and have you sign it now. She's just way too nice and friendly. And we talked about how awesome Fonda Lee is. So it was a fun time, and I enjoyed it. Got to see lots of cool things. A big Child's Play family. My kids were gotten really into Chucky, and they had a Chucky car there and Chucky the doll. So much Chucky stuff, Jurassic Park stuff, Ghostbusters stuff. It was kind of what you'd expect for a convention. It was a lot of fun. It was a neat experience for me. And again, I want to thank them for letting me go as a member of the media. You know, I don't get any special treatment. You just get in the door. It was a really cool experience, and I hope to get to do it again next year. And I'll definitely bring the kids next time, because I think going to book conventions probably pretty boring for kids. But going to a convention like this, I think the kids would like it quite a bit. And hope I do take them next time. So again, thank you to those guys for inviting me to come out. As a member of the media, I didn't really cover anything really on the channel because it's Houston, guys, and it was a big old convention. Books were very, very small in it. I didn't get recognized or anything. One person at Christopher's thing like recognized me and talked to me and basically said I spend all their money. And I say, I love spending your money. It's great. It's much more fun than spending my money, I do think. But good time, and I'm glad that I did go. Some next week plans, guys. Got a couple of things. We are at the halfway point of the year. So I will be doing my mid-year video talking about the biggest videos, the most popular books I've read so far. Basically, I'll do my top 10 that I've read so far, not in any order, because I'll wait until the end of the year to do the order, and I'll do probably my 5 biggest disappointments so far. You guys have been tracking my DNFs this year. You probably know what those are going to be. But if you just got here, maybe you'll have some surprises in there. I think you may. I think you might see a couple surprises in there. But mid-year video is always a lot of fun. I don't call it a mid-year freak-out tag like everybody else. It's just, hey, the best and worst of the year so far. So I'll be doing that as well as wrapping up the month of June and naming my book of the month, and that's going to be a close race because I'm going to be frank with you. This month is like, I had a lot of good. I don't feel like I had anything that was like great, where there was like a runaway winner. I don't think that that was really the case. I think I know the winner. I think you might know the winner if you've been watching, but I think you also might not because, I've been saying, I'm kind of like, it was good, but nothing that kind of blew me away. I think that's kind of what the kind of month that I had. And you're going to have months like that sometimes. They can't all be 11 out of 10, sadly. They cannot. But we will talk about June and what worked, what did not. And I do love to do that. So before I go, guys, there are a couple of TV and movie talk things I want to talk about here. They got a director for the next 007 before they got a new 007. You guys don't know, I'm a very big James Bond fan. I have the hot take, because I've been a James Bond fan for so long, that I thought Daniel Craig's era was mid. I was never really sold on him as the James Bond character. He very much was just kind of a heavy in a suit. I never really got the suave, the kind of James Bond that I grew up with. The suave could always just charm everybody and then kind of just kick ass when he needed to. Daniel Craig was just going to punch him in the face. That was the kind of thing. And I was like, yeah, you know what? Timothy Dalton did this 20 years ago, and honestly, he did it a little better. I think people just weren't ready for that type of James Bond yet. So the fact that there's a new 007 coming, I was fine with that because I said I think that the Daniel Craig thing kind of runs course. With me, I don't trust it, obviously, because Amazon now has the rights to James Bond, which is just nuts to me. And God, I think Mr. Broccoli has just got to be completely just like devastated, for all he did to keep that under his control for so long and to be so protective of it, even after the mishaps like Moonraker and things like that. I felt like he was always on top of making sure that the brand stayed relevant, the brand stayed current. And Barbara Broccoli takes over, and here we are. With this, I don't trust it, but again, you've got Denny V to do your next James Bond movie. I think that Denny V has gotten to the point in his career where he's not going to take anything for a paycheck. He's not going to take anything that he has no control over. So the fact that he took this job before they've cast 007, I got to wonder if he's getting a say in who they're going to cast as the next 007. Now, there's lots of betting odds. There's lots of rumors out there. Don't believe any of that stuff. Because when Daniel Craig got the role, no one thought, people thought it was a joke. People thought it was like some kind of prank or something when he got the role. He wasn't even on the board. So I would be surprised if there is a huge surprise or some dark horse we're not even looking at for the next 007. As for Denny V, do I think he can make a James Bond movie? Did you guys watch Sicario? Did you watch Prisoners? Yeah, I think he can make a really good James Bond movie. I'm just keeping up that wall of guarded optimism because I trust him as a director. I don't trust Amazon. And it's hard for me to believe he signed on without some kind of creative control here, but I don't know. It's again, just you hope for the best, expect the worst on these things. Because I haven't liked the way that James Bond's been trending for a while now. I'm going to be blunt with it, and this might upset some people. I have no interest in an emasculated James Bond. James Bond has always been a male power fantasy, and trying to tone it down, I don't know. I mean, there might be an audience for that. I don't think I'm it, but that's cool. You got to kind of keep current. What I've been saying with James Bond, you got to keep it current for the modern audiences. And I understand that things are going to change. Like you go back and you watch Dr. No, and then you even go back and you watch the Pierce Brosnan era. You're like, these are like two different, completely franchises, completely different. So I understand that, he has to age along with the younger audiences. But I hope they don't just completely abandon everything that James Bond has been, for 50 years. So that's my hope as a big fan of the series. But there's few directors I would trust more. I mean, maybe Nolan. I just don't know that Nolan would be interested in doing something like this. But next best thing I think you can get. I don't think you could do a Tarantino. I don't think I trust Tarantino doing a James Bond movie. I mean, I think it would be good. I still think it'd be James Bond, really. And that's the three directors I always say that would be my go-to. Tarantino, Denny V, and Christopher Nolan, obviously. Finished Squid Game 2, and we just finished Squid Game 3 this morning. So we waited to watch Squid Game Volume 2 until Part 3 came out because we heard that the big complaint was because people were saying like, oh, 2 isn't as good as 1. I was like, well, why? And people were saying, well, because it was a cliffhanger. I was like, okay, so they didn't actually finish the game. So we just waited, and we've binge watched Season 2 and 3 since this weekend started, and good. Very, very good, guys. Again, I got to say that South Korea is just kind of whipping the pants off of U.S. writers right now, I feel like, because the storyline, the character development on these are just incredible. It's just so good. And it's, again, that thing I've talked about recently a lot with the Hunger Games and not the Walking Dead, the Long Walk, and things like that, where you tell yourself, don't get attached to these characters because you know how this ends. Almost all of them are dead, but you can't help it because the writing is just so good. There are some devastating deaths in Squid Game 3. It has an ending I think will be, I don't think it'll make everybody happy, and I don't think you could make an ending that would be a happy ending for everybody. For this, I don't think you really could find a way to please everyone with an ending. There are several things I felt like, not really loose ends, but left it open enough that where if they did want to do a spin-off series, they could. So this is supposed to be the end, and it might be, but I could also see, I could see a prequel series about the front man, you know, about his time there, or I could also see them doing a sequel series because this leaves open several things. Maybe we'll do a spoiler talk over on Mike's Media Reviews and talk about where they could possibly go with another Squid Game, I think. But overall, I had no problems with 2 because we watched 2 and 3 back to back, so it felt like one series to me, so no problems there for me. Was as good as 1. I don't know if it's one of those things I don't think you could ever catch that shock again. Like the first time they play Red Light, Green Light in season 1 completely blows you away, right? To where you there's no way you're expecting the worst. It's like how people are like, oh, I'll never be able to catch that high of Game of Thrones again. No, because you expect all these characters to die in shocking and unusual ways. Now you can't capture that again. So for me, I think that the series as a whole, great. And I'm glad that they decided to end it while it was still really good. You know, because I'm sure a lot of the talking heads at Netflix were like, oh, can you go this to maybe 5 seasons, 6 seasons or something like that? And they stuck to their guns and they told the story that they wanted to tell. And I was very, very satisfied with it. I think you guys will be too if you haven't watched it yet. So that's all really we've done over the last week plus or so. How are you guys holding up? What are you watching? What are you listening to? What are you playing? What are you reading? I'd love to hear. Why don't you go ahead and drop in the comments, guys, and let me know. I will talk to you there.